Peace and welcome to our top 10 forest themes in gaming. I have a feeling this one will be a good mix of themes. If I asked you what does a forest theme sound like, I am not sure anyone would have a clear and definitive answer. They have a very good mix and cover a lot of different sounds. And before we begin, here are our guidelines. Number 1, forest only, no jungle. That's a different list for a different time. Number 2, forest dungeons, temples, and anything else are all perfectly fine. Number 3, one per franchise. So what are our top 10 favorite forest themes? Let's find out. Number 10, Rogue Legacy, The Grim Outdoors. In my opinion, this might be the most underrated soundtrack in modern gaming. Yes, there are better soundtracks. You have some major releases from some well-known companies that are difficult to compete with. But when it comes to an indie game, I would say this is one of the tops. It has a retro feel, but with no compression. And that is actually one of my favorite styles from this new age of gaming. A vintage feel with high quality. Number 9, Breath of Fire, The Forest. Now this one brings back memories. I remember seeing these advertisements in magazines, and the name alone made me want to go pick it up. The fact it was an RPG and developed by Capcom were just bonuses. This theme has a funky bass line that I can get into, and the instruments floating on top really help fill out the beat. One thing Capcom seems to do well is produce good tunes. As a whole, the company has made some of the most memorable themes in all of gaming. This one may not be the most memorable to everyone, but I really like it. Number 8, Super Mario RPG, Beware the Forest Mushrooms. Did you really think you would get through this entire list without a Mario theme? We may not put them in every list we do, but when we do, they usually deserve it. Mario has some very memorable themes. You may not like the themes, but at least they are memorable. I personally, most of the time, do like Mario music. You can tell it's not just thrown together real quick. The depth of this theme is what places it on our list, and I don't mean depth as far as tracks used. The SNES is limited to only 8 different audio tracks, so it can only add so many instruments. But even with that limitation, they did a wonderful job. Number 7, Final Fantasy VI, The Phantom Forest. Another RPG from the SNES. There are a lot of forest themes in Final Fantasy. We went with The Phantom Forest because of its uniqueness and because Final Fantasy VI is one of our favorite soundtracks in the entire franchise. This is a very unique track when it comes to forest themes, as it's not just a regular forest. This is the Phantom Forest after all. A theme that comes off a little bit creepy, but fits the situation perfectly. I really like the instrument selection on this one. They all blend together really well. It's a nice, soothing, and relaxing theme. 6. Castlevania 3. Mad Forest. So if the last theme was soothing and relaxing, this might be the complete opposite. A theme that can get your blood flowing with its up-tempo and faster-paced beat. Everything about it feels like classic Castlevania, and this is not a bad thing. It feels a little bit odd not having this one higher on the list, as this is a great theme. This comes from the 8-bit NES, however you can find the Japanese version that made use of the VRC6 chip, a special mapper developed by Konami that allowed for 3 extra channels of sound. This version adds depth to the track by adding in a few more instruments. If you haven't heard the VRC6 version, well, here you go. Number 5. Tumba, Dwarf Forest. Maybe the biggest surprise today, and out of all of the tracks on the list, this one probably sticks out like a sore thumb. It's comical, it sounds funny, and it seems like what you would hear in a circus, or at least a carnival. It doesn't really send out a forest vibe, I get more of a clown vibe. The composer took a chance with this theme, and it paid off. I really like the feel of it, and it almost reminds me of Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, where it has a funny, but yet almost twisted feel. This one feels less evil than the Kefka theme, but it fits the game. Number 4. DUCKTALES, the Amazon. What can we say about the DuckTales soundtrack that hasn't already been said? We did a top 10 tracks from DuckTales, not including The Moon, and this track was our top spot. If you watched the video, you are probably not surprised to see it in this top 10. It's a real energetic track with a positive vibe. It doesn't make me think of a forest, but I don't know how many themes can actually achieve that. What does a forest theme sound like? I think all of our previous top 10s had a certain feeling to each one. Water themes make me think of water stages. Snow themes make me think of snow stages. But I don't really have a notion on what exactly a forest theme should sound like. Either way, this makes it into our top 10. Number 3. Golden Axe, The Wilderness. One that may seem a bit controversial, but this is a forest. It just happens to be a dead forest, and we never said the forest has to be alive. This game is a classic and one of my favorite Genesis games. I actually prefer the Genesis version over all others. And yes, it's because I grew up playing this version. The arcade version was not the easiest arcade game to find. Although I did find it and play it, I still prefer the home console version. You can hear this track in many versions of the game, from arcade and Genesis to the Amiga. This track does get better when you listen to an arranged version, and this may be my favorite one. From the Sega Ages 2500 series on the PlayStation 2. Number 2, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, Forest Interlude. Now I am convinced David Wise could produce hit songs for pop artists. Just imagine this theme in better quality and not so compressed. There are a number of musicians that could lay vocals over this and have it sound really good. The only thing Mr. Wise would need to do is add some drums. I really like the depth of the track, and it almost seems like a waste to just use this on a video game, because there are many people who don't play games that will never get to hear this, and that's a shame. And before we get to our number one spot, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. TENCHU, Stealth Assassins, Cure the Princess. One of the best tracks from one of the greatest soundtracks in all of gaming. Many people have slept on this soundtrack. If you have played the game, then you know how good it is, but it seems like a lot of people haven't played this game, and if you haven't, you are missing out. I recommend the game, and I recommend the soundtrack. Every single theme is fantastic. This theme starts out a little bit slow and a little bit eerie. An acoustic guitar kicks in and helps the theme feel completed. But once the piano kicks in, this theme goes over the top. There are some vocals mixed into the theme that almost sound Native American. If anyone knows what language that is or what they are saying, please let us know. So this is the last one of these style top 10s we will be doing for a while. We covered snow, desert, forest, fire, underground, and some more, but there were too many Mario, Zelda, Final Fantasy, and all of the mainstays. So our next top 10 will be the top 10 David Wise themes. This way, we're guaranteed to not have any Mario, not have any Zelda, not have any Final Fantasy or Tenchu. Just good old David Wise classics. Also, thanks to everybody who submitted forest themes. Even if we didn't use your submission, we still appreciate the entry. And we did go listen. It just happened to not make the list this time. As always, we want to give a huge shout out to our gold level patrons. Zero Briggs. Anyways, I'm ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.